right, Nick. What do Daredevil and Wanda Maximoff have in common?
They wear red.
No. They both lost their vision.
Wait, Nick, come back.
We're not done with your question, bud. All right, let's get to the show. Let's go.
All right, let's do this.
You can walk off screen.
You will. You. Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, at Undercity Comics. Keeping up with the nerds, issue 104. This is Nick Mclaughlin.
Bryan.
Rene. Adam.
And welcome to the show. Wake up. Let's go.
Put on a little makeup.
Woo. How's everyone doing? That's an
I'm doing all right,
explanation right there. Y'all stayed up late watching Stranger Things.
I did. I stayed up until 4 and then woke up at 8. Oh,
Rest
I'm running off
in
of 4
peace.
hours.
Yeah, I went to bed at 3, woke up at 8. Ugh, that was not fun.
Must be nice. I slept at 2 in the morning with work at 7 because I was editing videos for another job.
Wait, not for us.
That's what for you guys. Not for us.
That's what 2 screens are for.
Yeah.
You put one screen up with Stranger Things, and then you finish the other work that we got to do.
No, because I can multitask. But when you ask me to listen to 2 things at once, my brain shuts down. Like that. Before we move on to the topics, this is the issue, the big one, when we talk about Stranger Things 4.
Yes.
Was I right on 104?
Did you say 104?
He said 104.
Yeah, we're at 104.
Last week was 103.
Yeah, okay, so I was right.
You panicked for
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, let me start counting. 1.
I did. I did. I was like, wait, hold on. Where were we?
Actually, real quick, Adam from Our Real Addictions is joining us today.
Yes.
Yes, sorry, I totally forgot. Yeah, you're a part of the crew at this point.
He already
It's kind of
introduced
like-
himself.
Yeah.
It's fine.
He was here last week, too, so it was
Yeah,
like,
but now he's on camera because we're
Yeah.
talking about Stranger Things 4. Before we move on to the topics at hand, I don't want to, keep everyone waiting. Why are you on the show, Adam? What do you have to promote?
A couple things, obviously, spice up this podcast.
Okay, listen. Listen.
Only pans.
We're here to I'm here to bring Katrina to justice.
We're going to find her?
We're gonna find
We're
her.
going to bring her to justice.
We're gonna bring her to justice. But no, in all seriousness, Our Real Addiction is having a giveaway in honor of us reaching 2,000 downloads.
What?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Congrats.
it's very humbling. It's super awesome because to start literally.
It's very humbling. He
Yeah.
comes in here fucking roasting us. My bad. I didn't mean to cuss so early.
the counter's on.
358.
But yeah,
Thank
so
Still haven't beat my time, but yeah.
what's the
That's
record?
Like,
What?
15 seconds.
Yeah, 15 seconds.
Okay.
Basically, it's like once we start recording, you just have to say a cuss word.
I don't even remember why.
I don't know.
I don't remember why. I just remember I did it, and then I was like, oh, man.
Dang it. Shucks.
Like, aw.
So 2,000 downloads.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a giveaway.
What is the
Yes.
giveaway?
We are giving away one pair of 2 tickets to see Thor: Love and Thunder opening night
What?
at the Cinemark Theater in Downey.
Ooh.
Yeah.
When does this start? When does this end?
So the showing is for 7:30. Oh, the actual giveaway. The giveaway started. Sorry, the showing is 7:30. Yeah. The giveaway started today. I posted it on our social medias
So
on Twitter.
upon recording July 1st,
Yes,
because this will be published on Wednesday. That's why.
So when are you
This is going to be too late.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Well, congrats, winner.
At this point, you would have already known.
Why? When is the giveaway supposed to end?
It was supposed to. Obviously, it has to end before the movie comes out.
Well,
Which is
yeah,
on
but-
Thursday.
Yeah.
So you're ending it Wednesday.
Yeah.
It would be like Wednesday. It would be like
Congrats.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Insert name
Hey.
here.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
No, but
Person you.
That lucky person.
Such a cool person.
That's why
I
I was.
didn't even like think about
That's
that.
why I
when,
was asking about like when does this start?
All right, thanks for joining
When
us.
does
We'll
this
see you
end?
next week. You know, it's all good. No,
Thanks.
in all seriousness, I'll put it, let me say this, okay? If you are not following our Instagrams, okay, at Keeping Up with the Nerds or Our Real Addiction, you miss opportunities like this. 2 free tickets to go watch Thor: Love and Thunder. We're A-listers. Hang on. We're A-listers. We're A-listers, right? So
Can you sit in the frame?
we don't know.
No,
We don't know.
because
I don't know what you're talking about. Point being, we're A-listers. We already pay, so we don't have to pay for our tickets because we pay membership. For people that don't, right? Are these IMAX ticket or regular tickets?
They're regular tickets. We did No Way Home at the Chinese Theater in IMAX.
Oh,
Yeah, for No Way Home.
So Our Real Addiction does IMAX ticket giveaways at the Chinese theater.
We have before.
Oh, so what you're saying is if you follow Our Real Addiction or Keeping Up with the Nerds,
You will find out about this.
wow.
Ah,
Really
you can
quick,
have a
give
chance
me-
to enter and giveaways.
Give me
like
give
this.
me the elevator pitch real quick so we can clip it.
Okay. No, I'm
Oh
just
my
kidding.
Are you serious?
No.
Dude,
so
just tell us about the giveaway.
Yeah,
Do everything
so
else. That way,
basically-
that way we can clip it. and we
yeah,
can
so
put it on.
basically, we're giving away 2 tickets to see Thor: Love and Thunder opening night, 7:30 at the Cinemark Theater in Downey. You had to be following both our Instagram and our Twitter for the single entry, but you can get 2 additional entries by following our TikTok and the subscribing to the Keeping Up with the Nerds YouTube channel, because that's where we're going to be posting our version of our podcast in video very, very soon. Yeah, and if you won the No Way Home giveaway, you were ineligible to enter this one, so that we can make it fair.
Yes. If you're watching, I don't know why I look that way. If you're watching this right now,
Closest camera.
yeah, I know. If you're watching right now, it's already over.
You missed out. You missed out.
Sucks to suck.
I really
Yeah,
hope
well,
you've been looking.
you could have
which
won, but
I-
you didn't.
Try.
So
next
now
time.
look at you.
But
No
what
tickets.
was it? But more giveaways are down the line
Yeah.
So,
on both
tech-
ends. And make sure to stay posted on all the social medias. Make sure that you're paying attention to our podcasts and all of our updates. And also, I'm assuming also it's going to be posted up on our website.
Yes, I will try to make that happen.
Okay.
It's interesting because in total, a No Way Home ticket was given away, IMAX Chinese Theater, a special edition limited run of the first issue of The Long Halloween in the art of the Batman,
Yes.
That was given to our friends over at what was it? The Mesa Bros.
and the Mesa Bros, because
Yes.
they entered the contest.
They did what we told them to do.
Yes,
Yes.
And,
And they won.
and they won.
They ended up,
They won.
They ended up
Rigged,
That's how
if
it
you
works.
ask
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
That's how it
they-
is. And then Thor: Love and Thunder tickets
Yeah.
here. So we're giving away good stuff if you guys just follow us. That's
Yeah.
all it is. That's all it is. I mean, we're not that big yet,
No.
and there's a lot of really good stuff that we're giving away.
Yeah.
So
But
why
it's a
not?
way to give back to the people who support us,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
early on.
The next thing we give away is Renee's PS5 with a copy of Fallen
Definitely.
Order.
We got to get 1 million subscribers for that to happen.
I will.
It
do
actually
it.
happens.
At 1 million subscribers, we can just buy another PS5
but it has Renee's stank to it. You know? It's got his-
and the Cheeto touch.
the controller's a little sticky, and you're like, oh,
How
It
do you know
smells
about
like
that
Rene.
about my controller?
what?
What? I didn't know about that about my controller.
What, it's a little sticky.
Yeah.
because it also has browser history.
I need to
Yeah.
delete that.
Moving on. Are we ready for a new segment, comic strips?
Yeah, that was actually I actually enjoyed that segment.
It's good because we're getting through minor news.
Actually, really good. I love it.
Moving it in quick, right?
Super cool, Brian.
I love
I'm
the
glad
things.
you brought it into
Thank you.
this
Hey,
new
I
segment.
appreciate the affirmations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love the name.
Nick, do better.
He's the one that came up with the name. We were sitting here for like an hour and be like, what's the name? And Nick's like, comic strips.
I was doing something totally different. I was like,
Me and
guys,
Brian were like, oh!
All right, let's get through these because it's quite a lot this week, actually.
Yeah.
Again, if you guys are not familiar with it, Comic Strips is our little segment here where we go through the news that has happened over the week, and we pick one of the topics that we're most interested in and talk about it for like a couple minutes, and that's it.
It's a lot of minor stuff.
A lot of little minor stuff that's not big into detail. Nintendo Direct had their little showcase this week showing a lot of indie games that were cool if you're a Nintendo fan. Biggest highlights, Persona 3, 4, 5, and Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, which I'm personally excited for, was also announced. There is a massive community for Legacy Collection, by the way. Mega Man Battle Network, you said that you were into it because of the anime.
The show, yeah.
There is a massive, massive community for it. And if Capcom does this right and releases the Legacy Collection with an online connection to it, it is huge. It is
I'll definitely get into
huge.
that.
So...
It won't happen.
It's Nintendo. They don't know how to do online.
It's Capcom. No, it's Capcom, not Nintendo, because it's coming out for PlayStation 4.
I understand that, but Nintendo doesn't know how to do online.
That's also true.
They're like, oh, so we have an online component, and then Nintendo's like,
Huh?
That's true.
I think still works on dial-up. Like,
We'll put. So what else are you gonna do with the game? We're gonna put Kirby in it. Okay.
All right. That's who was it that was talking to us on IG?
IG? Rainwater from Tramin.
Gotcha. He was actually commenting on it.
Yeah, Christian Rainwater from the Tramin podcast.
Yeah.
Go check them out.
Predicted Persona announcement.
Yeah. In all fairness, Persona was already announced
That was a gimme.
for...
Not really.
No, it was announced for Game Pass.
It was.
So... obviously, if they gave it to, if it's going to be on PlayStation, it's going to be on Xbox. It's going
But
to be on
Nintendo, little detail before we move on to the next portions of it. Nintendo is the type of person to kind of like throw a carrot out as bait and then reel it in and be like, sorry, it never happened.
Well,
That's what it is.
The thing is that for Persona, the better deal is Game Pass.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is the better deal. Because for the Persona games, you're still going to have to buy them. You still have to pay the $40, $60 if it comes in a bundle.
For a game that's going to last you 120 hours plus.
But the thing is that
Pass.
but if you have it on Xbox instead and you already have Game Pass, then it's
there.
$14 and I already have the game.
$14 to play 2 hours and you realize there's better games out there.
You know what? Honestly, you know what? Those games,
They're good games.
People have always been telling me that they're really good. I know my brother's boyfriend. He spent like hours.
Yeah.
Like
Do
hundreds
you
of
have hours though? That's the question. Moving on to the next
I
topic.
played Elden Ring. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, next topic. Thor: Love and Thunder is releasing this week. Are we all
Yes.
ready for it?
We're seeing it by this time tomorrow.
Yeah, basically.
It's released. Yeah.
Hyped. Ready for this.
Heck yeah.
Kyle Mclaughlin is joining the cast of the Fallout TV show, which is being the showrunners are Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy.
Yes.
Yep.
And if you guys are not familiar with Kyle Mclaughlin, Twin Peaks agent, main character in the show, the captain in How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
Yes.
In case you never watched Twin Peaks.
Which this is most updated news about Fallout, because I remember we talked about Fallout, the announcement, like years.
Dead. It was like a dead thing. It was happening still, but like no announcements. They've already kind of mentioned that it's going to be ghoul centric. It's going to follow a story of a ghoul. It's interesting. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I would love it if McLaughlin is Andrew Ryan, because he has that kind
They're
of persona.
Not using anything. They're not really going to focus on anything in the main games.
So no game.
It's an original
characters?
story. That's
Okay.
what they're leading into.
No, because wasn't Andrew Ryan the guy who's talking to you? Like he has like all of the.
That's Fallout 3, right?
Is it?
I
Who's the
think
main?
so.
Who's the main protagonist in Fallout?
Fallout or
in Bioshock.
Oh,
Oh,
you thinking Bioshock?
Am I thinking Bioshock? Wait,
yeah.
thinking
We're talking about
Bioshock.
Fallout.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I'm hot.
Yeah, I was
Dude,
like, what are you talking about? We're talking about
I
Fallout.
haven't started-
But
oh
can
my
we
God,
move
I'm
on to the
tired.
next one?
I was like, I haven't even started that. All right.
Dune Part 2 has been delayed to November 17th of 2023, but with that announcement, we get Godzilla vs. King Kong sequel coming out March 15th of 2024.
I think
Shut
that's
up.
fine with Dune. Take time.
Yes.
Making
Isn't
it more
it?
pretty.
It's moving back like a month though.
It's a couple months.
Dude,
Wasn't it slated for like another
Let
October?
Dennis Villeneuve
Dude, who
figure out
cares?
how he's going to do it. It's fine. The first Dune was great.
Yeah, it
Let
was.
his masterpiece work.
Yeah.
And
Give him time.
Yeah,
It's only gonna
Godzilla
get better.
versus King Kong.
Yeah.
We get more MonsterVerse movies.
Yeah,
You
sure.
shut up. You shut up.
I just
You're
want it to be fine.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fine. They're
Okay.
fun movies.
They're
You
fine.
shut up. Shut
cares?
up. Moving on. Next James Bond movie will reinvent the entire series, and the next movie has not been scripted yet.
Sure.
That's all the information that came out. Kind of weird to be an announcement, but it also came out around the same time that they interviewed Daniel Craig, and he had something to say about James Bond not necessarily being meant for a womanly role.
They take his words out of context.
That's
Yes.
completely
It's-
out of context.
Yeah, it's a completely out of context quote.
He makes an argument of like he wants people of certain diversities to have their own made characters written for them.
Yes.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
and not use an already established character.
Yeah.
In all fairness, Bond can be whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. And they already showed that in the last movie where, like, you know what? I'll get into it. Keep going.
Well,
What's next?
that's your topic?
Yeah.
Last bit, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the new Percy
It's on
Jackson
Disney
movie.
Plus, right?
Yes, is going to be filmed using a brand new ILM volume stage, which will be much more advanced than the one that was used on the Mandalorian set.
Oh,
That makes sense.
So they're pushing that limit because the Mandalorian wasn't the only one. Keep in mind, the Batman was also filmed using
Yes, they
ILM
were.
volume stages too.
which that was.
I
Awesome.
think that's going to be the new norm. I think you're going to see that a lot
Gar-
more often.
Yeah.
Guardians are also borrowed.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, really?
The
Guardians
Mandos,
3?
Yeah, Guardians 3 borrowed it.
And so did what was it? Well, there's just a lot of movies that are going to be using it now.
Yeah.
It worked so well. It
I'll-
works
yeah.
so
I'll take
well.
that one.
You want that one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
start with you.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
I'm definitely excited for that then because the way I didn't even know they did that for the Batman. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
they did.
I didn't either.
Until we were talking about it.
Yeah, until what was it, like a month ago when they released like the behind the scenes footage?
yes.
I was completely amazed about how that went because I was like, oh, so like they're even looking out in the distance, like those scenes where Catwoman and Batman are like talking, and you just see Gotham like out and the sunset's coming out.
Yeah.
It looked so believable.
So
watching it.
wasn't it interesting for you that the sets were so tiny and the the screens in the back basically kind of took up the entirety of the image? You're looking at those scenes in particular, right? Because the one that stuck out for me was the car chase scene. That was filmed on the
Yeah.
ILM volume stage as well, right?
Was it really?
It was.
Yeah, because
And-
Colin Farrell in those
Wow.
close-up scenes with Colin Farrell, he's just sitting in the thing and it's moving.
It's moving
But
like
you
so. It's
see-
on hydraulics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is one of the best car chase scenes
And
I've
it is.
ever seen
Yes.
in
And-
any film.
Yeah.
And it's so awesome.
Yeah,
But-
and you see how in depth they
Exactly.
are. There, you see it feels like it goes on forever.
So what are you expecting from this
It's also
Percy
a
Jackson
cheap-
movie?
I would imagine it's also pretty cheaper too,
Ah.
because you don't have to. Well, you don't have to shut down cities.
That's true.
And
I don't have to
also-
shut down a city. I don't have to. What was it? I just have to add things digitally.
The editing process probably seems a lot less.
It is, but you also have to keep in mind that this could follow the potential path of CGI in the early 2000s, where a lot of filmmakers were relying on CGI to make their movies happen, and it was terrible CGI.
So that's what I'm saying about when it comes to Percy Jackson, the show. I feel like it's gonna make the actors better at their job when they visually see what's in front of them
Yeah.
or what's around them as well too.
That's what Pedro Pascal said. Pedro Pascal and even and Pattinson, they both said, it's a lot easier to act when I can see the environment I'm in.
So Ewan
So-
McGregor said
so
that
much,
too.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor even said the same thing where I can now I'm walking in because even Ewan McGregor, because all this technology starts with the prequels of Star Wars, because they just did an entire blue screen,
Yeah.
green screen or blue screen.
And they had to kind of go with what they were told.
Yeah, and then George was just like, okay, so this is here. There's a pillar there. There's this here.
Tennis ball is going to be the head of an alien.
Yeah, the tennis ball is an alien, and then like they would do their thing, and then they would come back, and then he would have it already prevised on the screen with what they were doing, like very like early renditions of whatever it was supposed to look like, and then they would go, oh, okay, I get what it is.
Yeah.
All right, cool, I understand it now. But now, during the performance, but they still have to use their imaginations in the next takes and everything else, and they have to still get it. This allows the actor to do his job. He's able to act in the moment. He's able to see the reactions from a character, an environment. He actually feels like he's there.
Yeah.
He or she, sorry.
Yeah. Any last thoughts before Nick takes over?
I'm definitely
Should I go
excited
last?
to see.
No, you can go for it.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to make it sound that way.
That's what I was like.
I know. I was like,
My bad.
I'm definitely excited to see what kind of world we're gonna see from Percy Jackson.
Cool.
You know, I've always been a fan of the books, and also I didn't mind the movies. They were okay.
That's
but
interesting.
They were
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
They were fun.
They were
fun.
fun. I liked it. I
Fun.
think.
Nothing special. But
Yeah, I think what I enjoyed is the second one had Nathan Fillion in it. That's why I was like, oh,
yeah.
Never seen the movies, never read the books, so I think I should
Nathan
start.
Fillion should be in it again.
yes,
That'd be
That's
cool.
Poseidon.
yeah.
Nick.
Oh, that'd be great.
You mentioned the next James Bond.
Yeah, the
That's
next
your
James Bond.
topic that interested you.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be I think it's very interesting because what I do think is because they've already done it where they've done the campy, they've already done it where they've done the outrageous, they've done the uber serious, and then for them to go, we're going to change things up for this new Bond. Because when you think about it, Bond has to be, he's going to get resurrected. It's going to be a whole new timeline. It's going to be a whole new Bond, everything else. So the only way I guess you can really do that is either make it where it's past Bond, where now it's kind of like very Kingsman-esque, where it takes place in like a different time period, which that wouldn't work. Ian Fleming's people would never let that happen.
Yeah, sure.
A woman being Bond, they would also never let that happen.
No, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing though.
There's a lot of internal, and I think let's rephrase that because I feel like people would take that the wrong way and out of context.
Definitely.
It's not so much that it couldn't happen; it's that the internal productions are not satisfied with it letting it happen because the original creator of Bond has specifically said Bond cannot be a woman.
Well, Eon Productions would, because they own Eon Productions, but still they have the right to then say no.
Yes, and
To
they're
that.
going to say no.
And they're going to say no.
Yeah.
That's just an overall thing because what they want more than anything is for them to be faithful to his original vision.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but also I think most fans want him to be very traditional. I mean, yes, I'm on the camp too of I wanted to see Idris Elba as, Bond. I would love a Tom Hardy Bond. Tom Hardy.
Very
Bond. What not
interesting.
an American Bond?
They would never do that.
It has to be
No,
British.
it has to be British.
intelligence?
It's part of it. It's part of the contract.
Then where
has
does
to
it
be
come
British.
in? Then where does the reinvention come in?
That's the thing though, is that it's going to be, is it a darker Bond? Are we going to be a little more funny? Are we going back to that campy?
It can't be
And it
funny.
can't be. So unless it's much more of a mystery, like a spy thriller, that like
Sure.
and the only way I can kind of, because they would have to, because right now Mission Impossible is very much taking up that role.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible is the more exotic version of a fancy, or it's a more exotic version of a spy movie. James Bond is the pinky up fancy, movie that's very supposed to be.
Not anymore though. Not by the end of Craig's tenure though, because by the end of Craig's tenure, it was very, very gritty. It was very dirty. It was very, like pseudo realistic. We're not going to do the whole gadget thing. He's not going to have like the car with all the gadgets. He's not going to have like a bunch of different things. He's just a man who could do parkour with a gun.
Yeah, but it's still very suit and tie.
It's very
That's
suit
what-
and tie.
there- Thank you.
That's
Okay,
what it
Good
is.
job.
That's that. If you mean that by the fanciness of it, he actually and it's also not a suit and tie; it's a tuxedo.
Right.
But
Good job, Nick. High five.
Get over there.
Oh my god.
Get over there. I dare you! Don't touch me. But the thing is that for that, if you look at the marketplace and where it's at and how exactly you can advance it, Mission Impossible is very much taking up that audience.
Yeah.
It's traveling the world. There is a mission that's going on. I mean, hell, they even did Spectre better than Spectre did. They used exactly the same plot line from James Bond, used it in the Mission Impossible movie, and it was more interesting.
Yeah.
And that was so much cooler. I mean, they have the same scene from Spectre inside of an opera
Oh, yeah.
where he's searching for an agent and he's trying to find him. And it's exactly the same scene. And it's more interesting inside of Mission Impossible. Yeah. So, I mean, the only way I can see that them...
Oh, that's right.
They do.
It's Rogue Nation.
In Rogue Nation. It's exactly the
Benji's
same
at the
scene.
Ever since they announced the Mission Impossible trailer, I've been itching to watch the newer run of Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, Fallout, and
They're on Paramount Plus.
I know.
I saw.
I have the
went,
collection. Want to borrow the collection?
Well, I'm gonna try to get Andy to watch Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3 because she's seen
I have
all
them
the new
all.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll let you borrow it after this.
honestly-
They're in Paramount. I appreciate it. But,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
Honestly,
borrow
I
them
went.
Blu-ray.
Yeah,
I'll borrow them.
but honestly, for the Mission Impossibles, because I did that where it popped up on my feed, and then I was like, I haven't watched a Mission Impossible movie in a while, so I watched 2. Then I was like, I gotta watch 3. Then I watched 3. Then I watched 4.
So
and then I went down
what
the
I
road.
love about sorry, we're tangent out right
Yeah,
now.
I know.
What I love about the Mission Impossible movies is just there's always that classic run scene that Tom Cruise always has
Of course.
to implement.
Just
And it's
no,
just
no, no,
so great.
no. It's a far stride,
Yeah.
hands open, and he's just
Yeah.
swinging them.
Yeah.
Just swinging.
And I
just
used to get mad at that. I think it was blatantly in Mission Impossible 3 where he's running through Beijing,
Yeah.
jumping through houses, going through bridges and stuff like that. And but then after
Is
and
it
then,
Road? No, it's the one with Henry Cavill. Character.
That's-
That's Fallout. It's
Yeah,
the one where he's
that's-
running on rooftops.
yeah,
that's
that's the one
Fallout.
he breaks his foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the one where it had the unnecessarily long 10-minute running
Yeah.
sequence of him just like, it's just different angles of a far distance.
But they
close
always
distance.
add a little something. Like in that
Yeah.
one, Benji's talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, go right. Oh, sorry, left."
There's no,
you know?
there's no right to take. Oh, it's the left.
He's
Oh,
like,
God.
He goes, jump. He goes, I'm jumping out of a building. And he goes, oh, sorry, I had it in 2D.
but that's the thing though, is that Mission Impossible has figured it out.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible really has figured
Because
out
Mission
how.
Impossible has accepted its identity.
Yes, yes, it has.
I need you to wrap it up in a minute.
It is done what Fast and the Furious is done for for movies, where they just go, "This is what we are, and we're just going to do that to the best of our abilities.
I have
We're going
a-
to amp that up to 10."
I have a question for you, Nick, in terms of that. Do you think the reason the 007 franchise hasn't found its identity is the fact that they want to keep it traditional?
Yes.
Oh,
I feel like the thing is that their blueprint is so rigid,
Yeah.
but the thing is that it's already been done.
Yeah.
It's also a 40-year 60.
Yeah.
Because the first
Bond-
one.
yeah,
it
it's
creates
60
a
years.
ceiling really quick.
Yeah, it does,
it's
because-
a 60-year-old franchise.
Yeah,
is
because-
it 60?
I think it is.
Yeah, it's
1940s or
No,
19?
they just released like the 75th.
Yeah, the 75th anniversary. I think it's
yeah.
almost 80. It's almost 80
Oh
now.
my goodness.
But
It's old.
but here's the thing though, is that when you do have a history like that compared to Mission Impossible, because Mission Impossible was a TV show compared to this being a book, and going on to being movies, is that you have these very strict regulations of what it can and can't be.
1963, Dr. No came out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
60 years.
So the thing is that you have all these different aspects to it, and you also have everybody's personal, because it's almost as if you were in Britain, it's kind of like being a Batman fan.
Yeah.
Being a Bond fan. You don't really see it too much in the States, but in like Britain and in European countries, it very much is you're a James Bond fan. That's a huge thing, and they're very, very traditional on what it is. So is Sony, and that's part of their contract as well. So I think if they were to loosen up that contract a little bit and kind of give them a little more leeway, maybe. Because they've done most of the books.
Well, here's hoping that the reinvention is something good for the franchise, because the last couple of movies have been pretty decent from what most people are saying. So here's hoping. Let's move on. I'm going to make mine short and sweet to the point, because it's pretty much, I mean, I can talk about Dune, but for me, the big one that I was excited for, because I woke up at 7 in the morning and I was like, yes, it's happening. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection was announced. I've been a huge Mega Man fan since I was a kid. I just hated myself to the point that I would play games that were impossible to beat. So the Mega Man franchise, if you guys are familiar with it, is like practically almost impossible if you don't know what you're doing. And the Battle Network series was a great little storyline. If you've never, you want to play it though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you watched the show.
I watched the show. A big fan of the show.
It's a very interesting game in terms of the concept of how you like have to battle and do all these different things.
Yeah.
It's like Pokemon in terms of collecting battle chips,
Yeah.
but the mechanics of battling is, one, you have to be smart about which chipsets you're using, the weaknesses of certain viruses, and how you move along the grid. But what's very interesting is the story as well, because I think by Battle Network 3, they get really involved into. Do you remember in the story in the anime, they said that Mega Man is using data of his dead brother's personality?
Yes. Yeah.
And that gets into the game, but it's much more in depth. and you start to see like Lan's dad essentially going through the process of basically having to recreate his own son digitally. And then by the end of the series in the video games, it gets pretty devastating because like
Maybe let him play it.
no, I'm just saying it gets harsh. It gets very harsh. It gets
God,
very harsh.
Bryan.
I'll leave it at that. It gets very harsh.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I know. Just maybe let him play it. You know.
Why don't you just
I like
ruin
how you were like,
Fallen Order
oh,
for him?
you want to play it, right? You want to play it. So his brother dies, and then
No, that was in the show.
His
I
dad has to
understand.
recreate
I
it.
know. Just like major points in this game.
It's a pretty good game, but that's all I got to say. I'm excited for it. All 10 games, hoping that Capcom does this right.
Yeah.
Adam, out of everything that was announced in this comic strip bit, what is your favorite thing that you want to talk about?
You know what?
Wasn't paying
I don't want to piggyback off Nick, but I think it's the James Bond can't being a woman.
So it's the
But the thing-
reinvention.
What's the reinvention?
Well,
The-
taking his words out of
Taking
context
his words
is
out of
really
context.
interesting.
Yeah, because Daniel Craig didn't say Bond.
That specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody started. That's what the post said.
Yeah.
Was Daniel Craig said, women can't be James Bond.
So you also have to realize that is taken out of context because the amount of times that it's been argued in media that James Bond cannot be a woman is like every time a James Bond movie comes out, it's one of the first things that's out there in the news.
Yeah.
James Bond cannot be a woman. It's the headlining title for like 2 weeks. And it's the one thing people won't stop talking about before the movie, and it's the one thing people won't stop talking about after the movie gets released.
But the thing is that okay,
We got to wrap this up because we got to move on.
Besides it being considered Jane Bond and that, and that being, you know, that's fine. I mean, okay, whatever. But also, you kind of want the misogyny. Like, you kind of want, like...
That's what kind
Bond-
of comes with
that-
the character.
like-
No, and I understand that. It's like me going up to
sounds
your.
messed up,
It's
yeah.
like me going after your brand, saying like, you know what? Instead of talking about movies, you're gonna be talking about I don't know, stand-ups, comedy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense,
but,
you know.
'cause I understand it of-
Because it's a
your
specific
blueprint.
It's a specific thing that you're changing about the whole title of what James Bond stands
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, but not only that, but also, unfortunately, we've kind of seen how it works out when you have an established franchise and then you go, okay, cool, let's make them all women now.
It doesn't work out.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And it's not because it's an all-women cast.
It's just there's kind of an expectancy on what you see it as. And I think the biggest thing is like Ghostbusters, how bad that failed.
Yeah, but
when
that's...
they made,
But I feel like...
was different because that one did not want to follow a game plan that has existed for a franchise that was known for something.
But the problem is
other
that
than
I also feel like when
Yes.
they had women as the main actors, they used them more as a gimmick and not characters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was and that's where that turns into is that are you making James Bond into a woman because it's just a gimmick?
Didn't the new Oceans movie fail from that as well too?
Ocean's 9
Yeah.
or
Is it
or Ocean's 8?
Ocean's 8, yeah.
Yeah, Ocean's 8.
I think so.
It didn't do as good, but also it didn't have the names. You went to go see it's because the other thing is that they didn't go see that movie because it was 11 guys going to go rob a bank. It was because it was Bernie Mac, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Ben Affleck, which you had all of these stars.
big old
That's
actors.
true, yeah.
These actors, these names, and then when
Bernie
you go,
Mac.
yeah,
Rest
like
in peace,
yeah.
man.
But then you go over there, and then you're like, okay, cool. We got Sandra Bullock
No.
and Rihanna, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to see them rob a bank. Like I don't want to. I
think-
don't want to see
feel
this.
like the only actress that would be able to like really do it. The first person that came up to mind, like if I think of like a woman James Bond, would be like Angelina Jolie, but she's not British.
She isn't British. She's Canadian.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's the only woman I think who can pull it off.
Well, she was already Laura Croft, and she pulled off an amazing Laura Croft.
Yeah.
She was actually. I think that she is.
Salt.
Yeah. Honestly, the idea of a woman James Bond is fine. I just
Yeah.
think that unfortunately, because when you go by what Craig said, Craig specifically said, I think that they would do better as getting a original character being
Yeah.
introduced into the franchise and then being able to flourish that way. Because I think what his idea is, instead of them being automatically hated because they took over a character that was supposed to be a woman, that was supposed to be a man, just make an original character for them and give them that character. That's that's so easy just to do.
So is that like an original character within that world of James Bond?
Yeah, like James Bond runs into other spies and other and other like villains and everything else all the time. Like you can change different stuff, but I mean make a character for them. Make an interesting character for them. And don't just make them cool. This is Pussy Galore. She's just here. And then she dies.
Yeah.
Cool, we're done. Like that's it. Like that, and give them more interesting characters, give them more in-depth characters, and give them a better story to go with, and they'll have great characters.
We got to move on because we have about an hour left. Adam, you got to not feed Nick bait.
But realistically,
it is a good topic.
Cost us 5 minutes.
It costs. Yeah.
Hold on, but it's a solid topic.
It's a solid topic. I just think that right now it's not a good idea to discuss it in detail as much.
Dwell in it
because it's bits and pieces of information with a lot of people just assuming things that probably don't exist yet.
Yeah, the
it's
movie
a
hasn't
reinvention. It hasn't been scripted, so why talk about
or
it?
Casted.
But then again, too, why would they be talking about it if they weren't further ahead?
Headlines.
It's
doubt
clickbait.
That. It's clickbait.
Maybe.
There's no reason why. That's it. There's no reason why.
It's the same thing as when they interviewed Sean Connery, and then he said it's okay to slap a woman.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Slap a woman.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on to the meat of this podcast, this issue. Why are we here? Because Stranger Things 4 finally ended.
Yes.
Yeah.
After a month-long run with 2 parts, 9 episodes, probably almost 15 hours worth of video.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. Every episode in season 4 was about an average of hour 5. It's an average of an hour 5. Mm-hmm. So if you do that,
7 episodes, hour 5, 7 hours.
8 episodes at an hour 5.
Math.
Maybe. Okay.
No, everything over an hour 10.
No,
hour 10.
No, the first 7 were an hour 10.
Point
the
being,
the 8th episode was an hour.
4
and a
nerds
half.
in a room can't figure out time.
I was figuring it out.
You find us the time. You find
it
us
was
the time.
7. Which
Point being, it's a long season. So long, split into 2 parts. And I think what upset me the most, and I said that the moment I came into the store and we were planning out how we were going to discuss this, I was upset because I'm like, dude, I don't understand.
I don't have time for this.
I didn't. I was working and trying to watch the episodes. I look at it. I'm just like, oh,
you're
the
at
first
work like.
Okay. How many do you think are under an hour and 15?
For what? For
2.
each episode?
Stranger Things.
2.
1.
Jesus
it's an hour. The shortest episode is an hour and 4 minutes.
Which episode was it?
Episode 3.
Oh God.
That's not even the
so I got scared. Like I said, I tried watching it at work.
They were all an hour and 17 minutes?
Yeah.
More or less. They roughly they came in an average of like 115.
Okay, so
I was
like
ready
12
for every
hours.
episode in part 2 or both episodes to be about an hour 30. I was like, that's fine. I see the first episode that came out, hour 30. I see the second. I'm like 2 hours and 30. I'm like
2 hours and 30. Yeah.
I didn't know I was watching Avengers.
Yeah.
But
Endgame. Yeah.
the 7th episode picked up where episode 4 missed out. It has the extra 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
It's a long season, but was it good?
I liked it.
I thoroughly like this season.
Honestly, when I first started watching it, Stranger Things season 3 was alright.
Season 3 was my favorite.
I like season 3 because it was fun. It
Yes.
was very fun. It knew that, okay, we're taking a break from like the darkness and omniscience of it, and it's a summer kind of thing.
Yes.
It's summer break.
Yeah.
Billy was an interesting villain.
Yeah.
Going into it, Max is an interesting, felt like new member coming
before
in.
you because that might leak into season 4. This point on, guys.
Oh yeah.
Spoilers for season 4. If you have not seen it, it is a long season. We don't blame you. Go check out Stranger Things season 4. Come back to this podcast.
Take your time to watch it.
Yes, because it's very detail heavy. There's a lot of stuff that happens. A lot of dialogue that's very important.
A lot of tears.
But I don't want to see anything in the comments because it's been a week.
Yeah.
It's your fault. At this point, it's your fault.
It's
on you. It's on you. I don't want to see any comments.
With that said, Stranger Things 3 was fun.
It was fun. It was during the summer. It was okay. I liked seasons 1 and 2 a little bit better.
I couldn't.
That's a personal thing.
It's a personal thing. It's a personal thing.
And then going into season 4 is interesting because when you get to the end of season 3, Hopper is in Russia. You have
We don't know that though.
At the end of season 3, yeah, we do.
No, they don't. No. It's not until the trailer.
It's in snow. At the very end credit scene, he's in snow.
Let me put it this way. At the end of season 3, right, there's an end credit scene where they go to Russia
You're right.
and they say, oh, what about the American?
And
what American
and then they
would
revealed
captured?
the Demogorgon.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah.
So we knew he was in Russia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That.
There's also no body. In film, if there's no body, there's no death.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we knew that they were doing that. Joyce took 11 and her boys to California, and then everybody else stayed in Hawkins.
We're a very bunch of mean people here in California. I got to say that, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Especially during the 80s.
Yeah, I mean,
They were monsters.
She got what she deserved. That's all I'm gonna say.
11?
nah, man,
yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
But you know what's funny? Okay, so moving on to this topic.
Yeah.
We're going to answer a couple listener questions that were asked on IG. Go follow us at Keeping Up With the Nerds if you guys want to ask us questions, because we will be posting some stuff up. We're going to be more involved on there.
I have a quick question. Did you write down who asked us the question?
I wanted to keep that anonymous, honestly.
They asked you on social media.
So there
Nothing's
were only
anonymous.
there were a couple people, so we can probably mention them. I think you know who they were, Nick, right off the top of your head. Do you still have the account open on your phone?
No, I tried to.
Do you have the account
I
open?
have,
Yeah,
yes.
he can find it on IG as we're doing this. But basically, listeners asked some questions. We're going to answer a couple of them. I think the consensus between all four of us is that this was a pretty good season.
I enjoyed
it. Was
it.
very heavy, and you said something very interesting, because I partially agree with how you're saying this. There is nothing to cut in the last 2 episodes of the show that would have made this into a 4-part or 4 more episodes. I felt like the last episode definitely needed to be the 2 hour and a half.
When you walked in at first, you had told me like, man, it's so long. Like it's an hour and a half, and then we got another 2.5 hours. And then I looked at Rene, and I even told him, because we had all seen it without you. And then we had went, I don't know what to cut. Like, I really don't know where to trim some fat to kind of go.
Not trim, but like cutting this. There's no way you can separate that episode into 4 more episodes.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Or 2 at least, of at least like an hour 15.
Without like CWing it, I couldn't like.
No.
Where it's just like, okay, cool, we have this plot, but now we're just gonna drag this out for another episode, just so that way we can hit another episode. But you know,
I will say this though, okay? Maybe you guys will agree with me, maybe not. The first episode of part 2 was very weak, because I felt like it was the final setups. Like, you're setting up dominoes, right? And part 1 was basically lining up all those dominoes. It ended with you not putting the last like 3 pieces up, right? Then the first episode of part 2 were you lining up the 3 pieces that were left over, and then the episode ended with you flicking the first one and not seeing the outcome of how every domino is going to fall. It's the beginning of that catalyst. It was a catalyst episode.
Yeah. I think it's because a lot of episode 7 just dragged too much into it.
It did. Now, with that said, it would have been really interesting if the Duffer Brothers would have said season 4 is 8 episodes long, right? And then episode 9 is a separate special movie that comes out in September or something like that. Like a big Stranger Things event.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
I kind of don't want to. I don't even want a movie, really.
But why
We're
not?
getting-
I mean,
feel like-
I don't
I
want
feel
to. I don't want a season. I want a movie.
Here's
That's what
why.
I want.
Okay.
I
feel like that's
misspoke. I misspoke. Yeah.
I feel like season 5's gonna end in that way.
Like,
But
I feel like
if-
it's a 4, either an hour and a half or 2 hour episodes, or just make a 2-part movie
Yeah.
and then call that a day.
So, and you mean season 5?
Yeah.
I would still want season 5 to have that episodic feel to it, because it's still holding on to that chapter ideology, because every season is still like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. It works. It's interesting, right? But what I'm saying is, think about the length of waiting that we had to do between season 3 and season 4 because of COVID, right?
Yes. And the kids grew up.
And the kids grew up. We said this, but before the season premiered, it felt like we were not as excited for Stranger Things because of the long wait. We forgot.
I had to
You're gonna
rewatch-
have your hard.
I had to rewatch like 4
Yeah,
episodes.
we had to remind ourselves we're not the hardcore Stranger Things fans that are wearing like the merch the rare merch that exists for Stranger Things.
Oh, I should have worn it.
It's rare merch, but that's the thing. We're not those enthusiasts. So most of us are kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot what happened here and so on, and we had to watch it. I was fortunate enough because I didn't watch it until this year. I binge watched all of 2 and all of 3 to catch up for 4. So most people didn't. Andy, one of those people, didn't remember a lot of the stuff, and she had to rewatch certain parts of season 3 to kind of understand where
Really?
season
I
4
guess
is.
I'm not that in that category. I mean, I've been watching it since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I usually don't. I mean, I remember when the first season came out, I did watch it, and then season 2 came out, and I rewatched season 1 because I always did that.
Yeah.
I always end up rewatching the season before the new season.
You have that pattern. Some people don't. Yeah.
But I stopped after season 3 actually because I never rewatched. I mean, I rewatched it before, but before season 4 came out, I never rewatched it.
So
since.
I always do the 4 episodes. I'll go to the last 4 episodes because I've seen it, so I should remember.
Yeah.
And then like it'll remind me, and I go, oh, that's right. Okay, I remember that.
So here's what they should have done, right? Because I'm going to tell you right now, season 5's not coming out next year. Season
No.
5's 2024.
Yeah.
Now,
Season
At
5
the
is
earliest.
2025.
The earliest.
Honestly,
2024.
I can see it 2025.
it could.
I could.
So why didn't they just release season 4 as 8 episodes and kept the last episode, which was 2 hours and a
to
half,
fill in that gap.
to fill in that gap as a cinematic movie that would have basically kickstarted season 5 into the next year.
The thing is that I've been telling people this when it comes to Netflix now, we have been spoiled about getting the whole thing all at once.
That's Netflix. That's
Yeah.
Netflix being dumb.
That's Netflix, and now you could tell that other, streaming platforms are doing, weekly by weekly, and that's what keeps your subscribers.
But
honestly.
but also you can kind of tell that Stranger Things was filmed with that in mind. Because a lot of the times there is that moment of like a cliffhanger or something else, because sometimes those cliffhangers don't land as well as they do, but you also have that thing of like, well, the next episode's going to come up. So I'll find out what happens.
You get
right
comfortable.
there. And you get real comfortable
But
just
that's
hitting play.
So for me, at least, maybe there's a personal take, that uncomfortableness is what gets you excited for the next week.
Well, okay. So besides the whole streaming situation in the last episode and the length, the actual show
Is good.
is good.
Yes, it's good. It's good. It had some faults in the sense that some things you really had to reconsider, especially if you remember certain plot points from previous seasons. I'm going to say 2 pieces of information that were mentioned on IG stories. Okay? One of them, Duffer Brothers came out with a couple interviews.
Yeah.
One of them was that they were still working on part 2 even after they released part 1. So they were still editing it.
Yeah.
Which
I'm thinking they were doing reshoots in a way.
I don't think reshoots.
No,
I
because
think it's like more.
you can't do reshoots.
Post-production.
Those kids grew way too fast.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
You
It's
can't
not
do-
reshoots, but close enough. I think what they did is they polished it.
Yeah.
They had to. They could have.
Yeah.
They could have just polished it and been like, okay,
I
here
mean,
and there.
the last couple episodes has a lot of CGI, so I could see them cleaning that CGI really, like a lot.
But the other thing that they came out with was they said they have gone back and they've re-uploaded certain episodes from previous seasons with edits to fill in plot holes that were created in the future seasons.
It's funny how they don't say which ones,
And it bothers that.
Yeah.
That's a thing. I
or just say
understand-
a season that they did it.
Yeah,
on.
it's I get it for the enthusiasts. It's like, okay, let's take notes here and let's see. Oh, it's this episode at this time.
At that point, I'll just wait for a YouTube video to find it.
Then yeah. But why not just showcase it? Like, tell us what changed because. Okay, I'm not going to criticize the Duffer Brothers for making plot holes. It's a complicated story.
Yeah.
Every season,
I think-
they're adding a new plot point.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the biggest things is probably Vecna's like clock that they
Okay.
went in because they say it's in season 1, but
I don't
who
remember the
actually-
chimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who actually went back and checked that? I have season 1 on DVD. If we want to like read
Why not?
that, like
Yeah.
might
I'm
as
down
well,
to
and
do that.
so it's like that'd be cool.
Yeah,
No,
why
to
not?
see.
Well, it's cool. Don't justify this.
I mean,
tell
I
have
feel
them
like
tell
as-
us.
I feel like it's fun for the hardcore fans
Yeah.
who want. It's like an Easter egg for them to go.
Yeah, go back
Go
and
do
go
that.
rewatch it.
I don't
think-
think I'm. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I think so. To dabble into season 4, I believe Vecna wasn't the true final thought.
But
No.
there have been interviews where they
what?
said
Like
that all of
Vecna
this
was the one supposed to be controlling. Like, I don't think when the Duffer Brothers started Stranger Things, I don't think they ever had Vecna in mind.
No, I think Vecna is new.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they set it up in 3 because what was it? Because the hive mind keeps saying we.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you just assume that it's the hive mind is referring to itself as a we because it's everybody, but in reality he made a deal with one.
So I'm gonna
Not
say
a- Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this, okay? From a fan's perspective, it's a good Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
Yes.
From someone that's studying film, it's
annoying.
bothersome.
Yeah.
Because I want to see where those plot holes are to learn. I will admit I wasn't a fan of season 1. Did not like it. Did not
Slow.
care for it.
It's a slow burn.
Forced 80s nostalgia that honestly was overdone. Didn't care for it, right? Then the series grew on me. So if I were to go in and write something about Stranger Things and say how this is one of the best series that has come out in the 2000s, easy. Because the Duffer Brothers have created a great storyline that has added multiple plot points in different seasons and has kept a consistent story. It's a lot of information to take in, but somehow you split the group up and bring them all together for a good overarching storyline. Now, if you're saying we're going to re-edit details and stuff like that, but we're not going to tell you, I don't have that time to spend 2 to 3 weeks digging through every single episode, seeing where the differences are. Just tell me. Not yet. Just say something so that way we can study it.
Just wait for a YouTube video.
But
because like realistically, like New Rockstars is probably gonna have this out in a couple weeks, in like a week.
But it's
this
more
is what we
interesting.
found.
It's more interesting when it comes from
looking through everything.
It's more interesting when it comes from a showrunner.
No, 100%. Another thing, like Rene, you mentioned Vecna not being the big bad.
Yeah.
They kind of were implying that the Mind Flayer was controlling everything.
Wasn't
big
behind
bad.
everything.
Yeah.
And then
But
are
then
we talking spoilers?
yes. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Because then we see the Mind Flayer in Russia, which doesn't make any sense.
I think also it's also the thing of like, okay, we gotta have our characters fight something, but the Mind Flayer in the Upside Down is just particles.
Yes.
Well,
How do you fight that?
Well,
Exactly.
the thing is that so they were able to capture part of the Mind Flayer and then put it into and then contain
Box.
it,
Pandora's
and
box.
contain it, and they've cut it off from.
Definitely Pandora's box. In
Well,
Russia.
because the idea.
Basically, it really
Okay, so just as a reference, the idea of this season was you had all three of all of our main characters separated in Russia.
Did you say
California.
3 groups? It's like
3
4.
characters.
No, it's 3 groups.
There's 3.
It's Russia, LA, and Hawkins.
Joyce and Harper with Maury. Then you had
Russia.
that's I consider that the Russia
Oh,
arc.
That's the Russian arc, but
Al's
then-
on her own for a
Elle,
while, so it's like
Mike,
it's
Will, and
four.
Art.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
besides the point.
There's 4
Okay.
storylines going
But
on.
there's 4 storylines going on, but you all because then I would also consider that with part of Mike and all theirs.
No, because
So
Mike
it's-
Mike sidetracks to go find Dustin. Yeah, but
But the thing is,
you're
though,
right.
But then the
Because-
Hawkins storyline, if you had to do that, then the Hawkins storyline, you have Dustin, and then you have like Joyce and not Joyce. You have
But
It
if
gets
you notice-
it gets way too
That's-
complicated.
See, that's
They
what it-
spread
that-
out.
but do you see what I mean?
No, but you're making it complicated.
But
it
that's how it
starts
is.
out
No,
at
okay.
like 8-9 little mini storylines, and they start
Branching
delving
out.
in
Okay.
into these
Take it
3
the other way
arcs.
around. Take it away the other way. It's 4 storylines, and they're slowly kind of like going out on their own. Like,
Oh my God,
little-
Brian, stop.
No, that's what it is.
I know,
No,
hold
no,
on,
because
hold on.
they're
Stop,
everybody's
stop.
separated.
I know. Hold
and
on.
then they
We
kind of
haven't
start
even
to come together.
Hold on. We've already spent 30 minutes, and you haven't even explained what the entire season was about.
I
You haven't
mean,
even talked
I
about it.
honestly don't think we need.
we don't
Yeah.
need to explain the season.
It's mostly people want to know what we thought of this season.
How
honestly.
we would literally be spending 2 hours
Yeah.
talking about this season
You
because
can't
there's
spend-
so
you're not
many.
gonna spend 2 hours
It's
talking
4
about this season.
freaking storylines.
We
I'm not
can
gonna.
if we want to.
How about this?
2-hour special
Why
episode?
don't we get to the questions
let's
that
get
we
to the
have?
questions.
We actually
We're
we haven't
pulling
even
it-
gotten
we're
to the
pull-
questions, and we still have
Let's
we
let's
still have
answer the
10. We
question.
only have 10, 15 minutes left.
So
in this
we'll
segment.
start with one question and just go from there. This one was asked. I think it was your friend Savi Echo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eric.
He did the first 3 questions.
You went ham on those questions.
Oh, because I love Eric so much. He's great.
So first question he asked was best D&D reference / moment used in season 4.
Are we gonna all say the same thing?
I think we are.
What is it?
It's a
What is
sword.
yours?
Yeah.
No, okay. I want to say it was Eddie's moment when he's the bats, when he has like the shield and the spear.
That's nice too.
I like
that's
that
that is-
very
that is
nice.
that is a really
Yeah,
solid.
I like that moment. Even though Hopper having a sword is badass, you know.
The reason why I like it so much is because it refers back to Eddie in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because Eddie is telling them about the fight with Vecna, and then Vecna is saying you're low on health, so it's the fight with 11 and Vecna because it mirrors what happened in their actual campaign. Of she needed to roll a nat 20 in order to escape the bindings.
Yeah.
And to be able to save your friends, and they even say, "Who's down?" They go, "Everyone's down."
Okay.
So they've
always done that,
Yeah,
too.
but they brought that all the way from like episode 2?
That was 1, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like episode 1 or 2, and they were like, "Oh, this is how the series is gonna end," and I knew it too. I was like, "I know this is how it's
The
gonna
same
end."
thing happens in the first episode of the very first season,
Yeah,
where they're facing the Demogorgon, and that's how the season
Oh,
pans out.
that's right.
yeah. How they
So
how
it's
they
not-
were able to attack. The
It's
Demogorgon.
not that it's necessarily new, but it's nice to see it happen again.
Yeah, because you know that she's gonna roll that nat 20.
Yeah.
It's especially like pleasing to see because it's the hero's story at the end of the day. Billy
Well,
runs away.
Really quick, as people who have never played D&D,
Nerds. Sorry.
you've never played it.
Me?
Have you played D&D?
Yes.
When?
We tried. That's the thing is that every time we play
We
D&D,
tried.
no, we've tried. We've done a couple campaigns and they never end through because it's just difficult to meet. I'm sorry, I'm not like some people that are like on Discord. We got to meet at 7 p.m. every Tuesday to run the campaign for 2 hours. And it's like, okay, dude.
2 hours. Wow.
Obviously,
You're not about it.
short campaign.
Yeah,
You're
you're
not
not committed.
serious, man.
Yeah, you're not
it's
committed.
hard.
Come on.
It's hard.
Short
D&D's a
campaign.
hard thing to
Dude, I've already
commit
done
to.
like 3 sessions. I've already done 3 campaigns, man. Completed.
The one campaign that I played, it was like 4 hours. Yeah, we started like at 8 o'clock, didn't end until like 1.
Yeah, that's a solid camp.
Yeah.
That's a solid session.
That was fun. We had
That's a lot of.
we had to go through the Baba Yaga's house, and we got trapped from the Baba Yaga, and we were on a frying pan. And every time she asked us a riddle and we got it wrong, she would put up the heat more. We had a fun DM.
That sounds pretty fun. I remember
Nerds
when
do D&D.
No, I remember the first time I
Featuring
ever
our
finished a
edition.
The first time I ever finished a campaign, I
You're
remember
part of the nerds.
I remember what was it? The first time we ever finished a campaign, they literally one of our DM went, "You guys need to be here at 2 o'clock because this is gonna take all day." And it was 2 o'clock. I don't think we ended until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Did you ever have
that
a?
was
So
that was
freaking
but
cool.
that was an all day session of us going, this is end game. Like literally this is our end game. We're collecting the rest of the armies, we're going to war, and this is what we're doing. And that was awesome.
Did you ever have a friend that never updated their character in time, and they had to do it like right there? Right
No,
before?
we because we all make fun of that person.
So that's what I always had. This one friend, every time we played, he was like late on it. Like, we told you to do this. Like, our DM messaged us like a week ahead of time. Like, update your characters, get it down on your character sheets. He would show up the day of and going like this with the D&D book and be like, "All right, it's your turn." Oh, okay. And he's like, hold on. We're just like,
I will say
that's the benefit of technology though, is because was it D&D Beyond now?
yeah.
Allows you to make a character on your phone, and then you can auto level it, and
That's
then
awesome.
and it will automatically tell you,
Yeah.
this is what you got.
I
with
will
that.
say
You can just
paper.
click.
I have to
Yeah.
have to and want to commit more to D&D
Yeah.
because of my nephew. I want to get him involved. I want to
can
do
start a
storytelling.
session.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be involved in order to get him involved.
Well, yeah.
Who's
so
willing to be a DM?
I don't want Nick to be a DM. He's gonna start targeting me for no reason.
No, that's unfair.
That's why.
If he's doing it for the pod, I feel like
no,
if-
I'll
that's-
do it.
I-
I have a pretty level head.
That's true. That's true.
I mean,
Can we move on to the next question?
yeah.
Really
Okay, so
favor
next
every
question
single
is
one of
asked
you.
by the same person,
Echo.
Echo. What was your reaction when 11 cracked Angela in
Deserved
the
it.
face?
Deserved it 100%.
Oh, dude, I was
Very
like,
satisfying.
oh man, yeah. In all fairness, if she would have just curb stomped her, I would have been okay with it.
It was
Like-
very graphic too, because
Yeah.
like she's just standing there stunned, and then you just see her forehead split open and the blood dripping down. You're like, whoa.
That wasn't her real nose.
It's California. You can easily get it redone. You know?
We all know it wasn't her real
We have
nose.
the best plastic surgeons in the world.
Sweet 16, present right there.
Did you notice? So what I really loved about it was the attention to detail in the clothing that the kids were wearing.
Yeah.
When they were in Hawkins, everyone was like very conservative in like a shirt and a flannel and
Yeah.
jeans. You come to California, shorts,
all
skirts,
bright
and, you
colors and
super bright
everything.
neon discos and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
You're like,
because that's
"Whoa."
LA.
Yeah,
That was
it's
LA.
interesting.
They're
yeah.
wearing like the latest Adidas.
Yeah.
Or something
It's so
like
Cal.
that.
It wasn't. Was it LA? I think it was.
No, it
somewhere.
was.
It was Southern
It
California.
was Southern California.
Yeah.
It was probably like a little south.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Southern California.
It was Whittier, California.
It was in Whittier.
Coming live.
Simple question. Moving on to the next one.
Next question. I think this question was asked before the last 2 episodes came out, but I'll say it like this: who did you think was gonna die before these last 2 episodes?
Who did I want, or who did I think was?
Who
gonna die?
did you?
Let's
think
answer
was gonna
both. I
die?
think that would be fun.
So I wanted Nancy to die.
You're the
but-
only one in
Yeah,
that
because
category.
okay, I'll give you my reason why. But I knew that what's his name? Not Billy.
Eddie.
Eddie was the one to die.
That was a gimme.
Yeah,
It's
that
the
was
Duffer Brothers way.
Yeah. New character, you love him. It
That means
was
he's
the only
gonna
way.
die.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
That means he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I figured, I mean, I wasn't ready for it because he had one of the most badass metal scenes of all time.
No, yeah. Honestly, I
It's
thought
so great.
I thought either Mike or Will might die.
You wanted
What
it, or
if-
that's what you wanted? Or
No, that's what I
what
thought
you
was.
thought.
That's what I
Okay.
thought because they were dealing a lot with. Because when they're dealing with the upside down, that's a lot easier to kind of manage, and I feel like the scarier people are the soldiers.
Uh-huh.
Because no, because they kind of are.
Human on
They're-
human combat.
No, because they kind of are. Because even when you're watching the season, like they're just mowing through people
Yeah.
without discrimination, and they're not asking a whole lot of questions. Like they're not, huh?
Sorry, that scene when those the army people are coming in through what is it, Will's and Joyce's house.
Yeah.
That one shot. It was all one long take too, which was
Yeah.
That
dope.
was a very unique take on it.
Way
too.
to do it, yeah.
It was a,
Yeah.
I mean, people have done it. Other
Yeah.
directors have.
But to see it in
to
Stranger
them
Things
was
yeah.
really cool. I was
Hell
like,
yeah.
But-
because you're cutting from like place to place. They're going from room to room.
I think there was 1 or 2 cuts in that entire sequence.
probably.
'Cause
Yeah.
what
It
I-
wasn't much.
'cause
Makes
what
sense,
what
yeah.
I originally thought was it was going to be either Will or it was going to be Mike because then 11 failed.
No.
11 failed to protect them because she didn't have her powers, and that was going to give her back her powers.
It would have made more sense to have Will die more than Mike because Mike is like,
Crucial.
crucial to Elle.
It's
and
her anchor.
Yeah.
I'm telling you
essentially.
right now, I think by the end of the season, Will is going to die because I think that he's attached to Vecna.
I believe
So if
so.
Vecna dies, so does
You mean
Will.
by season 5?
Who do you want to die?
Who do I want to die?
Yeah.
Nancy.
No, honestly, like I'm cool.
I'm going to tell you why. I'll tell you why after Nick.
What's his name? Will's brother,
Oh,
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mad about him.
He did not get much development in
He
this season.
he was just there.
in the show.
He was just the pot smoker.
Dude, honestly, he was an Uber driver.
Yeah.
And he was just the driver in this season, man. He didn't do a whole lot.
too, because he had a lot of good character development over the seasons, and he started to gain confidence, and then he just lost it when he moved to California.
Well, they wrote him. They wrote him
Season
backwards.
3,
Yeah.
season 3, he started to kind of like they didn't really care for him. You can tell.
Which I don't understand
Yeah.
because he wasn't just Will's brother. He was the guy that needed to find an identity other than just relying on basically protecting his brother, and he found it. He got that confidence. He had
Yeah.
that confidence to take, to be able to date the most popular girl in
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Hawkins
that's where
School.
they messed up too, though. By pairing them together in a relationship.
too soon.
Yes, it
Too
was.
soon.
Well, no, because their relationship was flat after they finally hooked up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was kind of like you know what it reminds me of? Jim and Pam in The Office,
Oh,
because
that
they were
build up
much
for so
better.
many
Yeah,
seasons
they were
and
much
stuff,
better
yeah.
separate, and then when their storylines finally crossed,
That's
It
how it
kinda-
goes for like most.
It was
things.
too
Yeah.
safe.
Because
yeah.
at that point, when you put your characters together so early, you have to do those milestones of like, okay, these characters are together now, and it's like, what's next for them?
Did you pick
get
up-
them married and stuff like that?
Did you
And
pick
get-
up how they ended this season with their relationship?
Where
Are
was-
we cool?
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Did you get your application letter? Yeah. No, it's actually, I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
So that's the tension that's going to be in season 5.
Which
Yeah.
I don't think we need to explore that in
No,
season 5.
we don't. It doesn't matter.
Who cares about whether or not they got into whatever college?
Yeah.
They are
the
not
world
going
is
to
ending.
college.
The world is ending.
I'm going to use this as a jump to like why I wish Nancy were to die. She outgrew herself too quickly because of what you said. Because the moment that Steve and Nancy broke up, Steve had that growth,
Yeah.
and what a growth did he have?
You see it.
You
Dude
see
was
it.
the babysitter for a while.
Yeah,
I love the idea of like he's like, oh yeah, I want 6 kids, and she was like, what?
Yeah, it's
Like, what do you mean you want 6 kids?
When-
And he's like, oh
when-
dude, I've had practice.
Yeah.
Like I've been babysitting these like 7 children.
He progressed a lot, especially in this season alone, where you just see him just become like a total badass.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's the older brother that didn't really plan to be for Dustin.
Yeah.
and we
Oh, yeah.
see that, and it's
I
so
love how
great.
jealous he is of Eddie.
Yeah,
I love how like
And-
under the skin like Eddie is making him just because like Dustin keeps on talking about
But the
Eddie.
self-
But then
Yeah.
Eddie's like, dude, he worships you, man.
Yeah,
And
and then-
Eddie's so like humble about like Dustin being around him because he's like he knows the importance of Steve
Yeah.
with Dustin. It's like,
yeah,
dang.
because like, and that's a great it's such a great moment between, and that's why I love Eddie. Honestly,
Yeah.
favorite
So-
character of the season.
Speaking of characters, so now Adam, you're next. Which one did you want to die, and which one
Okay.
did you predict was or wanted to predict to die?
I feel like Max having that once she had that episode,
Uh-huh.
it's not that I wanted her to die. If it made
Felt
the
right.
They were
most
setting
sense.
it up.
Felt right.
Because one thing I feel the biggest issue Stranger Things has always had is they don't kill off main characters. In a
Yeah.
show where it's so easy for main characters to get killed, and they've been so safe,
Yeah.
and
Especially
you've done
for
it
children.
exactly.
Children dealing with monsters.
They could
Yeah,
easily
100%.
Game of Thrones it.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
just like
Yeah,
getting
you're
to
right.
switch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
And-
thinking, I'm like, did they kill anyone? No.
No, I don't say like
It took them 4 seasons to kill off a main character. That's the thing. Max. It took 4 seasons
Yeah.
to even do that.
Yeah.
to
we
put
don't
when
know
she's
if
in
we're
a
dead.
coma.
Yeah. We don't know the status of what's going to be of her throughout the show. But she does die. We see that. 11
I
just
mean,
makes her back.
that's how the portals had to open. She
But after
She had to die.
finishing up,
legitimately had to die.
after finishing up the season, I was kind of like, I honestly wish Dustin would have died.
Oh God,
Yeah,
why?
because I feel like
No.
risk.
The-
Go
Adam,
ahead.
you're coming.
No,
No, I wanna- let him
talk.
talk. Let the man
Before
talk.
that-
Because I want to hear
Talk.
this.
okay,
Let him talk.
because of
I'm
the fact
upset
that,
with that.
Yeah, no, and it's not because like I don't want him on the show. I don't know his name in real life.
It's like
hold on.
Galen something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
something like that. Anyway, what
The
happened?
point is, I just feel like it was clear. All right, Eddie is that new big brother to him.
Oh, it's Ganton.
it's,
Mazza
Ga-
something.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Mazza Zerno or something like that.
Gatton.
Mazzaro.
Yeah. There you go.
Italian.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Italian. That was
Uh,
also a really funny moment where he was just like, "You keep talking, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Teeth
Yeah.
gonna fall out again." And then they're both like, "Too far? Yeah, too far, dude. Too far."
Anyways.
But I feel like the team just needs emotional weight. I also think, honestly, at the end of the show, I think 11 needs to die. I feel like 11 really, her character is just too big. It's honestly the Iron Man syndrome. Iron Man realistically couldn't exist after Endgame
Yes.
because this is the culmination of the story.
Well, there's the combination of all his mistakes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's. I just have a hard time
'Cause
citing the whole Dustin.
Yeah,
My-
exactly.
the-
But I think it's because it was very crucial. I feel like you had to keep Eddie further on. They killed Eddie way too soon. Way too soon in this show.
There's something that they mentioned inside of Umbrella Academy. There's only two things
God.
that bring people together: weddings and funerals. And I think that a total coming together after Dustin's death, as somebody who was an anchor
Yeah.
of the group. You know, Mike used to be the anchor
Yeah.
because you can kind of see his position moved
He's-
over to
he's
Dustin.
shifting out,
He
yeah.
very much shifted out. Once him and 11 hooked up, got together, they really did shift that leader role more towards Dustin.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even label Dustin as a leader. I don't think he is the leader.
But Dustin's the one that's always
he's not
he's
the leader, but he's the anchor.
Yeah.
He's the one that since
he's coming up with the
season-
plans. He's the one
since
that's coming
season
up
two,
with
yeah, exactly.
what's going
He's
on.
the-
That's not what an anchor brings the group together. You got to keep in mind what Dustin does best in season 3 and season 4 is he's the compass that leads the people that he's with in the right direction.
Exactly,
So
and-
I would say, for me, if you kill off Dustin, you're killing the people's champion. So then who do people, the audience, have to root for? And if you
It
kill
gives you a
everybody
chance
else.
to properly give Will the screen time he's needed since season 1. Because Will has not been important since season 1 and season 2. Still the main focus point, not important because he's sidelined because of the fact the mind flayer is in his body.
Well, I wouldn't even say sideline. I would say that there's just no importance of it because how many times do they reference that he keeps getting goosebumps in the back of his neck? They referenced it once in season 4, and they referenced it twice in season 3.
Yeah, but
Remember
what did
he
they
said-
do with him
remember
in
he's-
season 3? Nothing. In season 1, he's in what? 2 episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it revolves around him, but I feel like Noah Schnapp as an actor so desperately needs that development as a character in the show.
You also have to keep in mind that right now there's that kind of moment with Will where we don't know. We do know, but we
if he's
don't know.
in the closet or not.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's a storyline.
What do you
that's,
mean we don't know?
He is, but
It's more or less
Nick, what I need
confirmed
you-
without being confirmed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can't be telling me oh well, how do you not know? I
Until he
understand
actually
that.
says it.
Bingo. You have to understand that aspect. Robin comes straight forward with it. Will has not.
I understand
Even though
that.
there's certain actions that do that kind of stuff at any point, unless it's specifically said,
But
we
it's-
cannot assume 100%.
But it's not okay.
I don't think he's mad at the whole thing. It's more of like they haven't revealed it and they're treating it like
They're treating it as a secret.
it's gonna be a big.
It's
It's
weird.
still,
Yeah.
it's still a
Yeah.
secret, and the thing
Not
is
weird,
that
sorry.
you can tell he is in love with Mike.
Yes.
He loves
Yeah.
Mike.
Mhm.
He loves Mike more than just a best friend, because even like put the things that he wanted to say to Mike, he said it as if it
L.
was if it was L,
Yeah.
and you can even see it in that moment of all the things that Will has pent up about Mike, and just the love he has for him. And then when Mike kind of goes like, you know what, you're right, Elle really does love me, you can see Will turn, and Will's heartbroken because he wishes he could say that to him.
Yeah.
He wishes that he could express himself, because he's so scared that if he reveals this to Mike, he's going to lose his friend. He's going to lose all of his friends. He's going to be alone again.
That's the storyline that they're choosing to focus with Will. So when
Yeah.
you say like, oh, well, they should be giving him the screen time, how can they when that seems to be the center focus of Will's
Will,
storyline?
Because that's the thing that Will gives a shit about.
Okay.
Yes.
Like, that's
Also
the thing,
that-
though. Will really cares about his relationship, because he knows at any moment, dealing with all of this, we could die. I
Yeah.
could die.
Yeah.
And I would have never told you the way I feel. And that's the hardest thing ever. Not only that, but also he doesn't know how to talk about it.
So then this goes back to the same point. That's the main storyline, and that's why they're holding him back from screen time, because they're waiting for that moment to basically make that big announcement of like Will coming out to Mike and potentially
Yes.
saying, I'm in love with you, I care about you, this is what's going on, and we're close to death. That's a screen
Yes,
time.
but
and then him and Mike
it's going to
kiss.
feel shoehorned in because of the fact they're barely addressing this in season 4.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
they started addressing it in 3.
Where?
Oh,
It-
it was when Will is upset about the Lucas and Mike are just worried about
they're
and then
paired up.
Mike,
They're coupled up. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Mike makes a
But-
reference of like, well, you never showed interest in girls. And
Yeah,
that was
you
it.
never showed an interest in girls.
That
That was
you're
it.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, you've never because then he's also very upset because he's spending a lot of time with Elle, and he hasn't spent a lot of time with him, and he's like, dude, whenever like you're over here, whenever we don't hang out anymore, like what's
Yeah.
going on? And he's very jealous of Mike hanging out with his other friends.
The
Everything else-
only counter argument you can make to that is the fact that he was in the Upside Down, and then he's kind of sidelined. So he hasn't really been able to hang out with his friends, because when he's finally back with them, their worlds are drastically changed. They're suddenly fighting these other dimensional warriors. He has a friend that now has superpowers. They've added their world has gotten so much bigger, and he is essentially still in the same place he was in season 1.
So Will is way overloaded with a bunch of things that still need to be developed is the issue. That's why he probably hasn't had the screen time yet. I think your concern is how much weight and how many issues are revolving around Will. How are we supposed to approach that? Because now that you mention it, if Will was the character that was gone in season 1 coming back, in real time, if you're talking about the real time analysis of how Will has to deal with the trauma of being, taken into the Upside Down, he has to deal with that. Comes back, has to deal with the bullying and the way that people treat him because he's zombie boy and all this other stuff. But then you also have to deal with his sexuality if that's the direction they're headed into. That is a complicated issue. I would much rather have it fleshed out the way they're doing it now rather than shoehorned in, because the small details that they've laid out, you've never been interested in girls, and then spilling his feelings out to Mike and everything. It's a slow development because we've mentioned it before in comic books. When they shoehorn someone's sexuality into a storyline, it feels very disrespectful. And here we're slowly getting it. It's a good
But it's kind of already starting to feel shoehorned in.
No, but it's not, because because the thing is that that's more or less what Jonathan's role is in this season, because Jonathan knows something's up. He knows he knows that Will is upset. He knows that there's a lot going on in his life, and I'm almost positive he knows what's going on. He
100%.
knows
And
he knows
when
that
is
his
that
brother's
addressed?
gay.
When is that addressed? In episode 8.
No, because no, it's not, because it's also introduced also in episode 6 when they're driving to L.
I would go earlier than that.
Yeah, it's just introduced by glances because he does not want to out him. He doesn't want to let him. There's a thing when it comes to having a sibling who is hiding that from you.
Yeah.
You know what it is. You know that they are, but you're allowing them to hide it from you because you don't want to out them and you want them to feel comfortable enough to come to you about it.
Yeah.
So I would say go even earlier than that, the beginning of season 4, because keep in mind, Jonathan started smoking pot because the amount of stress that he's having because of the move and responsibilities that he now has to take upon, with his mom being, alone in California with Elle and with Will and Elle basically there and having to take care of him. He basically started going in a different direction to deal with his trauma and his stress. And when you look at it from an actual perspective, like in real life, when you look at someone that you relied on, and they start doing the things that Jonathan's doing, you don't see him as reliable anymore.
Yeah.
That's why until the end.
That's why you stop going to him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why until like episode 9.
That's when Jonathan addresses it. And that honestly, does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that's where all that kind of happens. But I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a moment in season 5. He's going to tell him. He's going to say, this is what's going on. And it's going to be a moment. And I'm almost positive Jonathan's going to go, I know.
So I just hope in season 5 he has a more satisfying arc in season 5.
Will's or
Will's?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel.
I think from like a watcher's point, it's like it's frustrating because the show does not happen unless he doesn't write home.
Well, that's the thing though.
So it's like I feel like it's me and more like my gripe.
Well, Will
is
I
want more of Will.
I see what you mean. As a viewer, you want everyone to have an equal opportunity to.
Well, no, because Mike's fine how he is, even though essentially Mike's an idiot.
Yeah.
Like Mike's dumb.
that's
Mike's an idiot,
yeah.
and that works out.
Yeah,
like
that
that's
works better.
fine. Where
But,
but I'm gonna be honest. There's only room for one idiot on the show. That's why Gargoyle needs to die or whatever his name is.
Whatever.
I don't care what his
surfer
name is.
boy
Targyle,
pizza,
Yeah, Argyle.
I don't care
Argyle.
what
My
his
bro chose
Gargoyle.
You know why they call him Argyle, right?
Why?
Because he's their chauffeur. Die Hard.
Interesting.
He's the chauffeur.
All right.
All right. So
Next
moving on.
question.
Next
Good.
question.
That was damn. We tore that question apart.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That was like the shortest question too.
Yeah, no, it was. All the other ones.
All right.
Ooh, I'm tired.
The fourth question, I couldn't find who did it. So they asked, who do you guys believed had the best character development in this season?
Eddie.
Too easy. Because the same thing could be said about Bob in season 2.
I will say Steve had the best character development because when you see him
Max.
when you see him like take on like go to the dive down and stuff, you believe he can handle himself for a little bit and stuff. When he goes back to the Upside Down with Nancy and Robin, you know that duo is gonna handle crap.
Well, in all fairness, I love seeing Eddie and Steve. I really love their dynamic in general.
They're
their
polar
growth.
opposites.
They're polar opposites, but also I can totally see them being best friends.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because it works out.
It was the Steve and Robin of season 3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, but and I feel like that's the way the Duffer Brothers just write Steve is that he's so
compatible with
he's
everybody.
so compatible with everybody. Where once he meets a person that they have a common ground, which in that their common ground is Dustin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
go ahead.
and because of that, they can then come together in a mutual love of Dustin because they both love Dustin. They both want the best for Dustin, and I feel like that's where because I really wanted for season 5 the 3 best friends. I really wanted.
Yeah, you wanted that throuple.
I wanted the throuple of Eddie, Steve, and Dustin being friends.
2 dads and a son.
2 dads and a son, man.
My
That's what I
my 2 dads.
But I really wanted that because I love the idea of both of them, of Steve not liking Eddie, and then eventually going like, you know what, Eddie's not a bad guy. Eddie's kind of cool.
Look, listen, I already told you, Dustin can't have candy past 8 because he gets really hyperactive and he's never going to control himself.
Steve is mom.
I need you to not.
Eddie is dad.
Yeah, he's the laid back dad. Yeah.
That's absolutely what it is, and I
Let
love
him go
it.
explore.
Yeah.
Right? If he wants to smoke pot, do it.
I love all 3 of their little character development. All of their
It would've worked
whole
so
thing
well.
is great. Yeah.
It's interesting. I 100% 100% agree. I don't think there is a wrong answer in both of that.
I think it's just your opinion.
It is an opinion
Yeah.
because Steve did have the most character development here personally.
Yeah.
Because in season 1 breaks up with
Yeah.
Nancy. He needs to grow up. Season 2, he realizes I do need to grow up. Starts to grow up.
He's also a jerk. He's a jerk. He's a jerk from 1, 2, and
The
then
beginning of
3.
2.
The beginning of
excuse
2.
me. He breaks up with Nancy in season 2.
Yeah, because
so
he's-
there's
yeah.
that spark that begins the development. Then he meets Robin and starts to realize, okay, you know what? Like I can't be selfish all the time. I have to be selfless.
But he gets
Begins
ass kicked in season 3 by
Yeah.
the, by the
Yeah.
Russians.
He gets humbled.
Yeah.
He gets humbled.
That
Yeah.
if you get your ass kicked, that's a humbling moment. That's a humbling moment. You ever had your ass
humbling-
beat
yeah.
in 8
The
months?
Russians try to knock the freedom out of Steve, but freedom fought back.
Yeah, man. He went to Red Dawn and he came back.
Yeah. That's why.
Imagine this, though.
That's why. Like in season 4, you see him like, oh crap, he can handle his own now. Like he's
Yeah.
got this.
But
Yeah.
that he became that figure, and this is why I love Steve's development, because without necessarily saying I want Nancy back, he said I grew up more losing you because I lost you.
Yeah.
And there was that moment where he told Nancy, he's just like,
Thank you.
thank you for like letting me go, because I was able to
Become the best version of himself.
and if it wouldn't have been you and it would have been something else, maybe things could have been different.
Yeah.
But it's the way it is.
Yeah.
That's why I just don't like Nancy, because get away from him.
Uh-huh.
He grew up.
He doesn't
Don't
need you
corrupt him.
anymore.
He doesn't need you.
Nancy's in an interesting position too because she hasn't grown much.
No, she
she's
hasn't.
still, she's
Now,
still kind of like the same.
Because she,
I'm
she
gonna call
jumped
out
from
people.
relationship to relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call out people.
She's a homie hopper.
Yeah.
No, they weren't friends.
I'm
They
gonna
weren't
call out
friends.
people.
Now
I'm gonna
they
call
are.
out people. If people firmly stand against this statement where exes are exes for a reason, but they support Nancy going back to Steve, then you're a hypocrite. Straight up.
Then you must have hated How I Met Your Mother.
It's because Nancy
loved
and
How I Met Your
Steve
Mother.
are the biggest what if.
Yeah.
Huh?
There's such a big what if because it happened way before it probably should have.
For what? In
the show.
The relationship?
Yeah, the relationship.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't fleshed out characters, and I think that's why there's a want for it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they-
true.
I feel like they cut it just because they wanted to give Jonathan, him and Nancy, him and
They needed
Nancy
something
together.
him desperately to continue on because it really, other than Will, nobody had a storyline going on. Oh no, he's the only one because Joyce had her storyline.
Right.
She was mom hopper. You know, she was going. She was going out.
Where's
doing
Will?
stuff. Yeah.
What's wrong?
What's wrong?
She-
Where's my son?
She reminds
What's
me
wrong
of
with my
Marlin
son?
from
What's wrong
Finding
with my
Nemo.
magnets? Where's Hopper?
That's just what happens with Joyce every season.
Season
And you know
5.
what? And
What's wrong with Hawkins?
Yeah.
and you know what? I dig it. I love it. She doesn't need to do anything else. She doesn't
Winona
need to do
Ryder,
anything.
man. She has my heart, dude.
Dude,
Oh,
Winona
yeah.
Ryder.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah,
can
Winona
still
Ryder
get it.
plays the crazy.
She can still
She
get
plays
it.
the crazy mom the best.
Oh
It's
my
fun.
god.
Yeah.
Who do you feel had the most character development?
I think Max. I think her opening up about Billy, them giving her that storyline.
You know what? That's true.
It really evolved her character to what she was in season 3, and her admitting that I let my brother die.
Yeah.
I wanted my brother to die.
Ooh,
I think
yeah.
that's really big for her character growth, and even to admit she may be in harm's way, but and essentially she's still the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
And she's down. It's funny because like there's so many like 80 homages, and this is I feel like one thing like I feel like Star Wars has done in like the TV shows is that everybody when in the Rebel cause is down for the set, and Max is like down from the beginning. She's like, all right, she's like, if I have to die, I have like that. It is what it is. I'm down for the cause that.
Yeah.
For what is our end game, you know?
If I have to die, I have to die.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and she's
If-
completely
and she
okay
dies,
with that
she's
because
with it,
she's came and found her people,
Yeah.
her group of friends.
In which also I do like the idea of when Elle keeps on thinking back to Hawkins, her first thing is Max.
Yeah.
It's not even Mike. It's usually Max, and like her friendship with her.
Which is great because that's why season 3 was my favorite. Because season 3 was the introduction of Max and Elle as a friendship,
Yeah.
which was a co-elevated friendship that developed both characters. Max was accepting of a friend that didn't know existed, and Elle finally got a personality that wasn't Mike.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
her own identity.
Yeah, definitely.
Their own identity. We're almost running out of time. Actually,
So we got
Jesus,
one last question.
Let's do it.
This is from your friend Matt.
Matt, the Lucas cut Matt.
For Bryan, since he hated Stranger Things in the beginning, did it win you over?
No, Stranger Things suck. It's the worst.
Trash.
It's trash.
End the podcast.
All right,
We're done.
I'm not going to repeat this again. This is the last time I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
I did not like season 1. Season 2 was tough. The first 4 episodes. Season 3 was really great for me. Season 4 just won me over 100%. The problem I had with it, if you guys are new, is that I'm not a fan of shoehorned references. I don't like the reliance of that.
Is that why you were kind of resistant of watching it?
That's
first?
why.
Okay.
So for me, the easiest way I could explain it is this. The Duffer Brothers were born in the 80s. So to them, 80s nostalgia is bright lights, neon, and rockin' 80s music.
So you're saying when we do something, it's going to be 90s.
90s. And our version of the 90s is going to be really awesome with cartoons and stuff like that. But the 90s were hard. The 90s were, it wasn't all that. You watch Super 8, and Super 8 is probably a better depiction of what the 80s were like, but because J.J. Abrams was born in the 70s and grew up in the 80s.
I didn't understand.
I also, just going off of that, like, I love the idea of Eddie being a metalhead and then them looking for music.
Yes.
And Nancy's in the Upside Down. And then she's like, we need music. And he holds up the
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is music.
That was the Number of the Beast one, was it?
I think it was the
cassette?
Trooper album.
Was it the Trooper album?
Yeah.
It's funny because she's looking through all of his heavy metal and she's just like, this is all
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what
Where's-
it was.
yeah,
It was
where's
Iron
Beatles?
Maiden, bro.
Beatles,
It was
Blondie,
Iron Maiden.
Billy Joel, yeah.
Yeah, like it was all like the greats, and he's
Yeah.
just, and she's like, oh, what is this mess?
What did you guys think his song was going to be?
Who?
He was going to play that because they obviously teased it in the trailer that he was throwing a rock concert, and before because they released it a couple hours before.
I'll tell you, it wasn't. I didn't think it was Master of
No,
Puppets.
I didn't.
I didn't think it was
going
going
to
to be a Metallica
list.
song, honestly.
Yeah.
Neither
That was
did I.
the last band in my mind.
The-
But that was a sick scene.
That was
Yeah.
that when
Perfect.
okay. Remember when we were driving over to go see Maverick?
Yeah.
That was the scene that was spoiled for me on the thing.
Oh, in the Monopoly.
In the Monopoly
game,
in the
yes.
Monopoly game, that was the first thing.
Said,
that
What was
saw.
it?
It was
It
said
says-
Eddie stands on the trailer, just make a distraction while playing the guitar and stuff like that.
to get the bats.
But
to
that was
distract
in the
bats.
trailer.
That's the
Not-
thing. Yeah, that,
not at the time.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, when it
The
was
trailer
first,
didn't describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the
Trailer wasn't released.
The trailer wasn't released yet when we went to go see Maverick. Remember?
That's
That
right.
was the scene that I had read, and then I went, "Oh God, don't read," because I read more, and it was Nancy escaping from the Upside Down, doing everything. They are absolutely right. If you were playing the Stranger Things season 4 Monopoly, it spoiled the whole season for you.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Was it really on sale, or was it just? Was it?
It was on
released
sale before.
It was on sale before.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cheaper than
I thought it
regular
was-
Monopoly, so people were picking it up.
I thought it was like you could pre-order it, but here's
Nah.
like what it looks like.
No.
man.
They were
No,
hardcore
yeah,
spoiling
that sucks
everything.
even more.
But that scene with Eddie, oh God,
It was
I
really
didn't
cool.
It was
know
perfect.
what- yeah.
You know what? I thought it was gonna be cheesy, but it ended up being like the most epic.
Dude,
thing
it's
of
so
all
awesome.
time.
yeah.
I wanted to play Metallica on the
Yeah.
drive
Oh,
over here.
same
I'm just
here,
like,
yeah.
dude, I just want to listen to Master of Puppets.
Have you ever what was it?
Wait, don't sing it.
That's it.
No, have you
Puppets.
have you ever played Alan
Pulling.
Wake?
No.
Because in Alan Wake, there's the same reference of a scene of what was it? You have just zombies coming, and as they're coming at you, you have heavy metal music. It's like a heavy metal concert behind you, and you're just going around, and as they're marching the stage, you're just going around, just like taking them out, and it's a horde.
It
just
reminded
coming
me of
at
like a Call of Duty Zombies montage intro.
Yeah,
like-
but it's so
the
cool.
Alan Wake game, or are you talking about Stranger Things?
Sorry, Stranger Things. Like
Oh.
Eddie's like moment, because like Eddie was like, I was like, Eddie's gonna have like this super badass moment, which he did, and it's probably gonna be like him and Dustin fighting off the things. And it reminded me. I don't know if you guys ever played like the Mob of the Dead. It's where they're on Alcatraz.
Yeah,
But point is, the intro song is like it's a Johnny Cash song. And it just goes so wow, and like and it because it's like perfect for the time. And like even like Eddie's like I was like damn, like I feel like a good song for them is like Living on a Prayer. But it's not. It wasn't really metal. It wouldn't really fit him.
it wouldn't fit. It
wouldn't fit him.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't fit Eddie.
Yeah.
Maybe
Master
like
of Puppets
I thought-
makes sense.
I thought that. Yeah, it made sense too because of the position of what Vecna is. He's the master of puppets.
Knowing-
I thought also too it could have been Raining Blood by Slayer. I thought that would have been cool.
Oh yeah.
Isn't
That'd be pretty
Pantera
cool.
80s as well, or is that 90s? That's
I think
90s.
I think that's like late 80s.
late 80s, so that wouldn't have counted.
Yeah, because it was in '86. So let me see. Hold on.
I thought.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I thought another
Maybe-
thing. It could have been Welcome to the Jungle, but Welcome to the Jungle hadn't been
90s.
release point.
Yeah.
It's 87.
Maybe. What's his? Why can't I remember his name? It's at the tip of my tongue. Panama. If you wanted a safe song that wasn't like super metal
No,
or heavy,
I-
who does Panama?
no, because hold on. For Eddie, no matter what,
Do you know?
No.
Dude, it's at the tip of my tongue.
for Eddie, I feel like it has to be heavy metal.
song
because
Panama
the
does.
entire season,
The song
he's
Panama.
talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
He's talking about heavy metal. He's talking about all these other things, and not only that,
And
but
he-
also
yeah.
he shows off his guitar.
Yeah.
In the
Hendrix.
in the
Oh, Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi
in
Hendrix.
the in the is that in the first or second episode? I
What?
think that's in the first episode when he shows off his guitar, right? Where he passes by it, he
Yeah.
kisses it.
It's
Yeah.
Chrissy.
That's the first
It's
episode.
It's the first episode when
'cause
Chrissy
Chrissy's-
dies.
Yeah.
What was it? When he first kisses it, you know, this is going to be this is an
An
end
important
game.
an important moment. It's a call. Like we're gonna see something. It's like Chris Hemsworth swiveling or Chris Evans swiveling Mjolnir.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what that
I
moment
honestly,
was.
I really do hope, because like we said, like we've heard, there should be a time skip.
Yeah.
I
They've
really,
confirmed it. The
Yeah.
Duffer Brothers, and to do that is to explain their ages now.
Yeah.
I want Dustin to have learned how to play the guitar
Yeah.
In honor of
in
Eddie.
honor of Eddie.
That'd be freaking sick.
That's
And then like he has kind of like the same thing, and he has Eddie's guitar pick, and then he goes, "It's for you, buddy."
well,
And
he
then,
gave
like,
it
that's when
back
he started-
to his uncle.
Yeah, but his uncle could have given it back to him.
That's
as a
If
memento.
true.
over
True.
time, it could have always been like, hey, because the way that he talks about Eddie,
yeah.
Yeah.
his uncle, I'm imagining his uncle could see
Pick up that
you
they were
actually-
friends.
So-
Yeah.
You were definitely friends, and he would want you to have his guitar.
What I see is Dustin's gonna have hair like Steve, but he's gonna wear like a vest, like a Levi vest.
Oh, the-
You think he's gonna
battle
take both,
vest?
Yeah.
both dads?
Yeah.
both
Definitely.
of his dads.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
It's gonna be a hybrid of Farrah Fawcett and
And heavy metal.
Heavy
heavy
metal.
metal.
Yeah.
That would
Alright.
be so cool.
To wrap it up, we do have to because we have to close up the issue. Unfortunately, we're running out of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You said it's a time skip. Eddie will eventually maybe pick up some things, or excuse me, Dustin will pick up some things of Eddie, and that's a transition. Does anyone else have any predictions for season 5 in the direction it might be heading?
So,
You said Elle might die.
I think Al needs to die.
so
needs to
either
die.
Elle needs to die, or the only way to stop this is Elle becomes the new ruler of the Upside Down.
Yeah. We were kind of talking about
She-
that before
yeah.
the issue.
We were talking about it before the issue of what about if Elle defeats Vecna, but because there is no hierarchy now,
Yeah.
it's in chaos. And the only way to
it's-
close these gates
Well,
is
Vecna's
to
not
have
dead.
somebody.
He will be though.
That's what I'm saying. When they finally defeat Vecna, there is nobody to keep everybody under control.
Yeah.
so she stays.
So she has to stay, and she closes herself, and she closes off the Upside Down, and becomes basically like the new, not necessarily the new ruler, but kind of like its warden,
Yeah.
to make sure that nobody
It's her.
crosses
It's
back
her
over.
purgatory.
I feel like someone has already done this before.
Well, the problem is,
It's always like it's a sci-fi thing. It's like
well, the thing is
close
that
the doors.
hold
Well,
on.
I mean, that's like.
But I mean, the idea of it is
the
that
80s.
because in season 4 they keep on mentioning, you opened this gate.
Yeah.
You opened it. This is your fault.
created
and
me.
You
Yeah.
created this. So
I am what you made me.
Yeah. very-
Uh,
but I feel like that's it. And then I also think that Sam is going to be the new vessel of Vecna. That she's going to be kind of like
Sam,
Max.
Max. Okay.
Sam's from Zombies.
Yes.
Renee.
I think that we're gonna get obviously in season 5. I think we're just gonna get a lot of deaths.
I hope so.
Because at least the caliber.
You
of,
need
well, this
need
is the
emotional
final season.
weight
Yeah.
to a show, and it does not have that.
It didn't
we're gonna
get the
get
last
in this
episode, yeah.
season. In this season, it does.
We're gonna get a lot of deaths, and I feel like one of those or a few of those will be like the parents. I feel like one of the.
Oh,
parents,
Joyce is gonna
That's not enough. If Joyce dies, yes, I'll be okay with that.
Joyce is gonna die.
I feel like
Any
Mike's
other
parents
parents
are gonna
that
die.
any other parents
Write a
that
script
passed,
for
yeah.
a movie, please.
no. I think
Please, no.
With us,
Hold on.
with us.
give me 4 deaths. Who do you want?
Okay, I'm gonna throw in Dustin. I'm gonna throw Dustin in there because I'm kind of
Nancy.
a Natalie Portman for me. No, we're gonna cast her in the show to kill her.
Just to kill her off. It's a fan casting.
4 people to die. I'm gonna stick with Max. 11, Dustin, and I'll throw it in. I feel like they've just teased
You
Hopper
can't
so
kill people's
much.
champion.
Kill Hopper.
I don't want them to kill Hopper, just because we've already done that.
Yeah, that's true.
We've already done the fake out. We've already done everything else. I think that Joyce is going to die because she was a smoker in the first season, and I think that she's going to get cancer over this time skip, and she's going to and she's going to die for the group, and they're not going to know that she has cancer. It's going to be like that thing that she's hiding from everybody.
Imagine the Duffer Brothers just listen to podcasts or stuff that like, hey, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that.
Because she was a heavy smoker in season 1. She was a heavy smoker.
But didn't she? Sorry, go ahead, Rene.
No, I was gonna say. I'll say for mine. I think Will's gonna die.
Yes.
I think Will's gonna
Makes
die,
sense.
and he's gonna tell
makes
Mike
sense.
that he loves him after
Yes.
right before.
That's
he
his
dies.
dying act.
That's his
Yeah.
dying act
Yeah.
is to tell.
You
is to
kill
tell
Will,
Mike,
you can't kill Joyce.
That's true.
No.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
you can.
kill Joyce.
No.
If you're gonna kill 2 out of the 3, kill them all. Kill the bloodline then.
Kill the
No,
blood.
I'm just saying.
Just wipe it
I'm
from
just
his
saying.
Why don't you
existence.
just die, all right? Like, legitimately, at this point.
I'm just saying. kill
Duffer
the
Brothers
bloodline.
write an audience member to die, and it's Adam as he's watching it.
I hope not.
It just you just see
this character
flashing
named
lights.
Adam.
It's just flashing
We have
lights.
this character named Adam we're building up for this season, and he's just gonna die at the end of it.
Oh,
entire thing
jeez,
is-
damn! Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we have a character built. It's based off this guy Adam. We called him Poopy Buttface.
Okay, so you want Will.
So Will, and I think 11 will die.
Okay.
I'm gonna say again Max, but it's not Max. It's the body of Max that I think 11 has to kill. So it's like that whole like I tried to bring you back, but you're not there anymore. and stuff like that.
I don't think so. Just because I feel like you have to have this thing of when 11 kills Vecna, there has to be a sign that 11's killed Vecna, and Max becoming herself again would be that.
Yeah.
Finish your last one because we're running out of time.
And then I guess Lucas.
Okay.
That'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Will, Max, L, Lucas, because of Erica.
Yes, because
Erica,
you have Erica.
Yes,
Yeah.
because in this season, Erica has been more open towards Lucas. And it's interesting if Lucas were to die in season 5, Erica's like, yeah, I teased you as a nerd and I called you this and that, but you were honestly one of the best brothers anyone could ever
Which
have.
is also really funny that she teases him to be a nerd, and she's a higher level D&D character than he is.
Like she's really smart. She knows her crap, and like she's really good
She's
at
a nerd.
D&D.
No,
She knows he's a fake.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. She said that she was a level 14 and level 5. That put her in level 19. The max is 20. I mean, she almost maxed out her character.
Yeah, but
Like-
I do agree with Adam saying Elle locks herself up behind to close the final door for the Upside Down. Max dies because she's a vessel for Vecna. Lucas as a sacrifice, and Will.
No, it's Steve.
Will deserves a happy ending,
Oh, dude,
though.
stop.
No, I'm
Stop
thinking.
with this
No,
killing people's champions, dude. It's dumb.
I think the reason
That
why I think
helps for the
Steve.
story, though.
But I
that
the re-
really
Your
helps for the-
story.
No, but
No,
I really
even
do
though-
feel that if Steve dies, especially as like this like parental figure of like I'm holding back the big bads in order for you guys to make it to the final
Steve?
boss. Yeah. I can totally see that of like Steve giving himself up just like Eddie did in this season.
No.
Of I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that the mission gets done. Because we've gone this far, we got to finish it.
Yeah.
Or Robin. Why not? Just kill Robin.
I think
I don't feel like
see,
she's an
the
emotional
thing-
weight enough, though.
Yeah, but I mean that's cool
Dare
too.
you.
Just
Robin's a
She knows
person.
she's cool. She's cool as hell. But involved within like the group. This was her first season where she's like really
person?
involved. No, she's an actual character. She's just Steve's friend
Likeable?
in the last episode, in the last season.
that's true. She
Robin,
is
man.
she is kind of just Steve's friend.
I don't like Robin at the end of this season.
Because now we have two Robins.
We have 2 Robins now. They're like uber like klutzes and stuff like that, and it's just like you're gonna have that times 2.
It's
Like,
cute.
Well,
I like it.
no, but the thing is that Robin is a uber klutz, and they ramped that up all the way.
Yeah, she wasn't like that in season 3.
Yeah, like the idea of like she was just like I'm just a really bad runner.
She
It was
just,
like, what?
she started,
Like, what does that have to do with anything? We're running for
that
our
was
lives
kind of
right
explained
now.
in
Make it
season
run.
3 when she was hyping herself up because she wanted to portray herself as that kind of person when she opened up to Steve.
Yeah.
And then when Steve and Robin became closer friends, then she actually revealed who she actually was, who was a klutz, and just didn't like Steve because she didn't like the personality that Steve was. With that said, we do have to wrap it up because we're shooting way over 135 at this point.
Yeah.
And we didn't even do the boys watch, but we're saving that for next week because we are almost at the season finale for the boys, right?
Yes.
We
Next
are at the
week?
season finale for the
Yeah,
boys.
next week is the finale.
Next week. So next week is going to be a The Boys entire issue run.
Yeah.
Basically covering everything that has happened in the season and kind of just talking about what we predict in the future seasons of The Boys and how this could end because it's been an interesting show. It's been an interesting season as well.
Yeah, the last cliffhanger, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Can't
so
wait.
so we'll discuss it more in the next issue if you guys have been interested in The Boys. It's a good topic. It's a good show. Do not recommend watching Herogasm as your first episode if you did not watch the last.
Yeah, let me go 4 seasons. Let me go 3 seasons in episode
It's the most
8.
I'm gonna watch this episode called Herogasm. and
It's
just
the
get a
most
feel for
talked
it.
about episode. It's been the most talked
I
about
know,
episode
but I'm
of the
just
entire
saying, like,
series.
if you jump into a series halfway
Yeah, well,
in
for
on,
obvious
like, the
reasons,
third season,
though. You don't have to watch The Boys to know what happened. It's been all over the internet.
yeah. Also, I think
yeah.
I think in general from the title, you could kind of go like, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, the name itself intrigues
Curious.
So we'll-
everybody.
Yeah.
We'll do the boys talk next week,
Yes.
wrapping up the season. With
The-
that said,
I think next week we're gonna review Thor: Love and Thunder, right?
and Thor: Love and Thunder,
Yes.
Yes.
which
I'll
you have to
review.
talk to me because
Yes.
our Real Addiction's also doing that.
Yes, we are.
we
So-
gotta cross the T's and dot the I's and see what we're gonna do with that.
Exactly. So we're gonna wrap. So we're gonna wrap up this issue because we do have more production talks to talk about. Thank you guys for listening or watching. Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 104. Just a reminder, if you guys are listening to us on any audio platform, head on over to YouTube at Keeping Up with the Nerds and subscribe. Ring that notification button. We're still at 111 subs. We want to get up higher. We want to bring in more, more subs because there's tons of content headed your way. Also, check out our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. All the up-to-date information on when things do come out on there, as well as a timer, and sign up for our newsletter because we'll be posting up some stuff on there as well. Our Real Addiction, our partners over there with Adam and Miguel.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Our Real Addiction and on Twitter at Our Real Pod. And follow us both because we are going to be doing some awesome more giveaways.
Not
Yes.
this one because you missed out on it.
Yeah.
You should have been there. Done that. But whatever.
Should have been paying attention early on.
Our Real Addiction is the. Would we call it a sister podcast, or would we call it like a partnered podcast?
Yeah, partner podcast.
Whatever. It's another podcast.
It's an associate.
It's an associated podcast.
Again, we'll cross the T's and dot the I's.
Under the Nerds brand that specifically talks about all things movies and productions and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
It's our stepchild.
Yeah.
Adopted child.
You got lucky we adopted you.
You should.
End it.
I'm
End it now.
gonna
Let's
keep
go.
my mouth shut.
I had no choice. Our Real Addiction, go check them out. As always, guys, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a review. Let us know what you guys think. Am I missing anything in terms of announcements?
Oh, that's about it.
I said ring the bell,
Oh, you did?
subscribe, and
Okay.
ring the bell. I did not forget. I know you constantly remind me of
I know,
that.
I was looking down. All right, let's
With
finish
that
this
said,
off.
guys, thank you so much. Nick, take it away.
Sure thing. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 104. My name is Nick Malone.
This is Bryan.
Renee.
I was Adam.
Signing off from Undercity Comics. We'll see you all next time.